Hi, everybody. How are you tonight? It feels great to be back. I am Renee Carter,
Hey, everybody, I'm Glenn Thomas.
and we are back for another episode of Heart
Art
Talk.
Talk Live.
That's right.
Good to be back on Tuesday, 6:30. Cold outside. Let go.
I could tell you're cold. I could tell you're cold. Your little jacket, got your ski jacket on.
Cold up in here. I refuse to turn the heat on past 70.
Pack
I
it on. That's right. All right, everybody. We have a great topic for you tonight. It's kind of an extension of last week's topic. The topic for this week is manipulation versus love.
Yeah.
Heart-centered leadership in action. What happens when you are loved in an organization? How do we love as leaders, Glenn? That's what we're talking about tonight, right? So how do we love? It's very easy. That line between manipulation and love can be a pretty thin line. So just making sure that when we say I love you to our people, or if we even say we feel it, that our actions are aligned with those words. So, Glenn, you're going to start us off tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, no description really needed when we talk about manipulation. People know what it is. People know what love is, or we think we know what love is sometimes, I think. But manipulation actually, though I think in most contexts we think of it as a bad word, depending on how you use it, you manipulate things to get what you want. You can manipulate a wrench to actually do its job. You can manipulate any type of tool in order to get a job done. But when you start talking about manipulating people, that's when we get in a little bit into negative connotations, right? And so, we always talk about the quote by Rick Warren, love is the first job of leadership. Leadership without love is manipulation. And when I first heard the quote a couple of years ago, it stopped me dead in my tracks. And it stops most people in their tracks. So today we want to talk about it. We want to talk about just from the core of opposite of love, because everyone says, Glenn, love sounds good, feels good, but in an organization, that's kind of, it's tough. I'm like, all right, well, the opposite of it is manipulation. So basically, unfortunately, I know you probably don't want to hear this, but if you're a leader in an organization, more than likely you're manipulating people.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about five behaviors of manipulation today. You ready for behavior one?
I'm ready for behavior one.
Behavior one is a big one. It's the big one. It's the numero uno. It's the one that, knocks them down. Don't nobody get up. It's a biggie.
Oh boy.
It's a biggie. So here we go.
Here we go.
Hey G, what up? What up, fam? Karen on here on the hook.
Karen, how are you, Karen?
Look, this is the first one for manipulation versus love. The behavior for manipulation is when you make someone feel less than. You know who you are. You know who you are. You making folks feel like they not enough, like they don't have the abundance life. You make people feel less than. That's the manipulation. Number one behavior. Making people feel less than. Karen said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna get. And that's, we're gonna get in tonight, Karen. Don't worry about it.
It's real tricky too, y'all. We're gonna talk about that because that's real tricky. It can come through and especially in evaluations. But okay.
Oh man, listen.
That's a good one.
But the love behavior, opposite of manipulation, it's a whole nother thing. Make you feel good about yourself. Make you. You be at work jamming, you know what I'm saying?
Folks, look, everybody
the opposite of manipulation, when you're making people feel less than, is when you make people feel more than enough.
More than enough.
More than enough.
When
Oh,
they
you
walk
got
out of that observation and they have a little list of things they need to work on and they snapping their fingers like,
yeah,
knock these on out
yeah,
and then go on to the next one. Yeah, that's
yeah, yeah. They more than enough. You see
right, right,
that? You see the difference? Manipulation is less than when you're feeling less than and someone's making you feel less than, it's manipulation. But when they're making you feel more than enough, and we all know the feeling of what more than enough feels like when somebody's depositing goodness in us, not stroking our ego,
mm-mm,
not telling us, we're always okay, we're always doing well. No, 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 no. But more than enough means that even in our down moments, even in the times that we're struggling, people are depositing words and exhibiting actions that say that you are more than enough. That's what love looks like in the workplace. I know y'all think love in the workplace is something crazy. That ain't. That's what it looks like.
right. And it reminds them that of why they were hired in the first place.
Yeah.
See, you
Yeah.
hire them. We outsource for this great talent. And then when they get there, we do what, Glenn? We try to change them, try to manipulate them to be what we want them to
Change
be,
up.
and
Trying
forget
to fake them
why
out.
we hired them in the first place.
Trying to fake them out.
Try to fake them out. And then they looking like, that's not even my job description.
Pick two fake out. All right, Danny,
Right,
what you
right,
got
right.
for?
They looking
All right.
like, what the? I thought you liked me. I thought that's why you hired me.
All right. Behavior number two.
Oh boy,
Behavior number two.
this is an
Y'all,
easy one too.
yeah, y'all know who you are too when you hear this one.
Mm-hmm.
All my strings attached, folks, please
Mm.
stand up. All my strings attached,
Mm,
folks, stand
mm,
up. You
mm,
know what I'm saying? All my strings attached, folks. You know who you are. You going there, all right, like, all right, so I need to get something done. So let me see. I'm gonna give them an extra this and an extra that, and
yep.
throw in a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and hopefully, I need them to give me back a whole lot of that, right? Like
Yes.
it's just
Yes.
it's never equal. It's never
Never.
it's never
Never
equal.
equivalent. And it normally costs them their minds. It normally costs them
And and
their
you and you're typically giving them stuff that you should have gave them anyway.
mm,
No, we ain't gonna
day
even
off.
talk about that. We ain't gonna even talk about that.
Look, like a day off.
Like a day off. You should have gave them a day off anyway. What's going on, man?
Is that
You
Najee?
should've-
That's Najee.
right? You should have gave them. You should
Yeah.
have gave them
Then they
something
go,
anyway.
yeah, then they sitting here looking at you like, but
But what happened?
yeah.
So manipulation looks like strings attached, and if you're seeing that type of behavior, receiving that type of behavior, that's manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
What does love look like? Love looks like unconditional.
Mm-hmm.
It's not on condition that I need you to do X, and so I'm gonna give you Y. It's not. There is something called transactional leadership, and though it has its place, strings attached has a deeper negative meaning to it, though. Strings attached is really rooted in a place of I need as opposed to we need. It's deeper. Transactional leadership actually exists. We have to do certain things to get certain things in return from a collective. But when we talk about strings attached, there's something deeper, more negative, more sinister almost about strings attached. But the opposite of it, if you want to ask about how love shows up in the workplace, how you can love in the workplace, you can love unconditionally. You can love unconditionally.
But Glenn, can I ask you a question? This also should go along with the fact that they should be given an opportunity to say no and not be held accountable for that no, especially if they know that that they're already overwhelmed and burned out. They should have the right and be given the room to protect their own sanity.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. And Mars asks, strings attached can't be assistance in any way. So look, I think everything has to be taken with a grain as well as perspective and is relative in some instances. I do believe that when we think about can it be trying to help someone, strings attached just has a connotation to it. And in this context that I'm using it, it typically isn't about assistance. It's typically about getting what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And because you want something more than anything, you're going to attach some strings to it to get someone to do something, which honestly, if you turn it on its head and you think about it differently and say, listen, we need this. And it's not about me giving you X for Y. It's about us collectively needing to accomplish something. And whether or not you accomplish it or not, you're going to be lifted. That's unconditional, meaning that even in failure, I care about what happens to you. I care about what you were feeling. I love you through that experience. That's love, no matter what happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Manipulation is, it does matter what happens.
It's all about that I word we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Intention. It's all about the intention of your entire communication. You know, if your intention is to just get what you want and not be in concern of someone else, then it will show. It will rear its ugly head. It will.
Definitely, yeah.
Once
Karen,
you
definitely.
right.
Yeah, definitely, Karen. It's definitely, that's what we're saying. Strings attached is manipulation. It's a
It's a
form of
form of
manipulation.
manipulation. But calling a person in and saying, okay, Renee, if you call me in, Glenn, and you say, Renee, we need to get this done. But so this is, and I realize you're already working on this, but I think we need to put this on the back burner.
Yeah.
And I think I would prefer you to focus on this because this is going to help us grow. Do you have an issue with that? Like, that's the communication. It's not, I need you to do X and Y. And on top of that, I need you to do this. And then if you do that, I'll give you a day off.
No. It's listen, I know you need a day off. And listen, I want you to take a day off next week. I got something on my plate that I think that I need some help with. I want you to help us get this thing done. Listen, do your best. We're gonna get through it. You need any help from me, let me know. But I want you to make sure that next week you take that day off. Listen, that's love.
Yep.
Strings attached is simply, I need you to do X. I need you to do it. And if you do it, you can get a day off.
Oh, okay. What is, and the way you just worded that was definitely manipulation. Yeah. And it basically sounds like, and if you don't do it, then what?
Then what? Right?
And if I don't,
so folks, I want us to really, like, we're joking, like, we like to have fun with it, but think about this. Think about that thing that you see the difference in that language and in that tenor and that tone when you're getting manipulated at work. Sometimes even in the subconscious, we don't even realize it that we're being manipulated, right? Right? And sometimes we are manipulating, right? It does sound like a discipline, right? Disciplinary action. And we're manipulating people as leaders many times, and we don't even know we're doing it because we're so used to it. The flip side of there becomes love and intentionally how you show up. So strings attached, manipulation. Unconditional is love. The third behavior, and y'all listen, let me tell you something.
Oh, let me tell you, this can burn me up.
Y'all about to feel
right
this
one. You want to get me hot?
This third one, yo. This third one about to, you know what this third one is. The third behavior of manipulation is passive aggressive.
Ooh, you want to get me mad? Oh, Lord.
Yeah. You know, listen, I know somebody got something to say about passive aggressive. I'm gonna wait for the comments first. I ain't gonna even say that.
I want to hear these comments. Morris, Karen, what y'all gotta say? I want to hear this. About
wait for the comment.
aggressive behavior.
So Mar says manipulation good at any point. Now listen, let me tell you something.
It's never good, I don't think.
Manipulating people is never good.
Microaggression.
I mean, because real talk. But hold on, we'll come back to it. We'll come back to that. That's a good point, though. Microaggressions. Yeah, listen. Sometimes macro, sometimes even macro aggression. You don't even I didn't even gotta go micro. And passive aggressive is felt. It's an emotional abuse.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about emotional manipulation. You emotional abuse, right?
My spirit.
And so this is what Mark says. Passive aggressive behavior is a way of life for people who please or want to please. Yeah. Listen.
That's a good point, Morris.
Listen, and I'll say this much. It's almost like the water dropping, just like ding, ding,
yes.
It's just that's what passive aggressive is. It's kind of like come on, man, you real? But the opposite of passive aggressive is just being forthcoming. Forthcoming. Direct, but not mean.
Right.
Direct, but not mean. Right. The passive aggressive comes with a smile. Then after it's done, take off the mask. Yeah.
And then assertive, like Jamila said, assertive.
Assertion. Yeah. Listen. But listen, I used to think that direct had to be kind of like it had to sting. I used to think that direct meant, oh yeah, I'm about to say it like I say it with your chest.
I don't like that. Look, no, I don't like that. Look.
Say it with your chest, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, I don't like it. No. I try and do a better job of that now. I try and, sometimes I'll say, no, I don't like it. But I'll try and preface it with, hey, this is not necessarily about what I only like, but I'm just going to let you know, right? Like I try, right? Some of us are more prone to be more direct. I'm a direct person, right? So what do you think? What do you think with that? Let's talk about personal experience. How do I do an okay job? I'm doing a better job.
You are doing a better. Listen, okay, yeah. Let me go ahead and grade you for a minute. You are doing a great job, Glenn, because when we first started working together, you were very direct, and it stung. And now your directness is more like, it stung like the first version of that thing you told me about.
What you were writing something?
Yes. That profile.
Oh yeah.
It stung like that. But now you are very assertive in what you say. And I even see you catch yourself. You'll even bring it back. Okay. And you'll even talk. I can see you talking yourself off the ledge. You're like, okay. Wait a minute. All right, let me go back. All right, let me say this. You're in rehab right now.
I'm in rehab.
You're in rehab right now.
Listen, I'm in assertive rehab, yo.
I'm working on it, Glenn.
Listen,
now,
but look, I like
good. Nikki says I'm still not good sometimes.
Oh no. She's right about that. Listen,
I'm getting better.
Look, you're getting better. But look, Mara said I like to start with hear my heart with what I'm saying. That can be like passive aggressive.
Right. and I don't mean no harm on the front.
I don't mean no harm.
It's not.
But listen.
Clean it up.
But look, that whole voice though, like getting direct, is about taking time to understand and know who you're speaking with. So your perspective, right?
Oh, I mean harm.
So your perspective, so you understand the recipient, what they're going to be experiencing once you share those words. It doesn't mean don't be truthful. It doesn't mean don't be direct. What it means is be kind. Don't get upset with what I'm about to say. Basically,
and you're already upset.
and basically, don't get upset with what I'm about to say means that you don't have a better way of saying what you're about to say. So you just gonna let, as opposed to recognizing who you're speaking with, and maybe maybe they're holding on to what you're about to say, and basically giving it its credence, like, hey, like I appreciated X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate it. I think you did a great job on trying to get this thing done. I want to talk about some of the areas that we can improve. Look, there are a million ways of saying, no, I don't like it.
Right. I mean,
You can say it in a lot of different ways. The thing that I would encourage people to do is when you start trying to figure out all these different ways of skirting around the conversation, it kind of feels disingenuous, right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So self-control and passive aggressive.
He said, let me email you.
So
Oh,
so
yeah, this was fun.
so it's best with love to one, think before you speak,
Mm-hmm,
right? Love says that I'm going to be patient.
mm-hmm,
Love says I'm going to be kind.
mm-hmm,
Love does not say I'm going to lie.
mm-mm.
Love doesn't say I'm going to withhold the truth. But love says I'm going to first pause, be patient, be kind, and think through the words that I'm going to use because they're going to have effect.
Mm-hmm.
And so the difference between passive aggressive, kind of okay, being yes person, then blah, 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 is forthcoming, assertive in a way that is passion, that is patient and kind and loving. People are passive aggressive behind the scene. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So this is what I was gonna say. One of my dear friends gave me this. She said two things: timing and tact,
Yeah,
and the second thing was glows and grows. And whenever I hear glows and grows, I always remember that you can compliment someone through something hard to say, not trying to manipulate them, but simply saying, I love your growth. However, these are some things that we really need to continue to work on.
yeah. You just you again. It's about putting thought behind the words.
Mhm,
And I know that we're in a rush culture, and sometimes we get that. Listen, I fall victim to it as well.
mhm.
And I kind of I remind myself, listen, I can't be perfect, but I can think about what's about to come out of my mouth before I make those type of mistakes.
However is the word. Yes. Howsoever.
Um, I
Howsoever.
like the I like the I like the ands. I like using and in feedback. Let me tell
Huh.
you the difference, right?
Explain that a little bit. Go into that for a minute.
Ands no buts. Ands no buts.
Oh,
So
so you're good to sort of like what you said before. Two things can be true at the same time.
two things can be true at the same time. Ands no buts. So what ands no buts is this? Your next does look like me though. What do you think? I love your growth. Your next
Mm-hmm.
it looks like no. I can't understand what that says.
I love your growth. Your next steps look like this to me. What do you think?
Oh yeah.
That's a good one.
Definitely, that's a good one right there, Mars. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
listen, I love that you put a lot of time in this, and I want to talk about how we're going to take the next steps to make it exactly what we want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to, I love you put the time in this, but there's something about a but in feedback,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's
That's
something
so true.
there's something about a but in feedback that I don't care what you said in the beginning, it's erased when
It
somebody
erases
says
the
but.
first part. Yep.
So if you're a leader listening to this, listen. It's an
And
Oprah tweetable moment. Listen,
I like
if
this.
you're a leader listening to this right now, use ands, not buts.
Mm-hmm.
Ands, not buts, because but you're right about but diminishes every single thing you just said. Nobody remembers what you said. You could have told them I was going to give you $1 million.
It really
When you
does.
said but, they forgot all about it because basically what you have said is everything I just said, toss it to the wind.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I'm about to say right now is what really counts.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
But if you take that but and you pull it out and you insert an and, basically you're
All of
saying
this is true. Yes.
all of this is true. You're
Mhm.
saying nothing is greater than the other. What I just said is equally as important as what I'm about to say. And is a positive transition word in
Mhm.
feedback and in
Mhm.
most things. And no buts, use ands.
Yep.
That's the word for the
I
day.
love it. No buts, only ands.
Is that Kansas say the butt changes it all.
The butt.
Right about that.
The butt.
You're right about that.
You're right.
All right. Here we go. Let's keep it
Moving
going.
on.
Let's keep it going. All
Get
right.
on track.
The fourth behavior that we're going to talk about for manipulation is
Straight out.
straight out stop being a bully. You know who you are. It's not cool.
Your position
You
to
know who you
intimidate
are.
folks.
You know who you are. Stop being a bully. And if you see bully behavior, you got to call it out.
Mm-hmm.
You got to tell somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Because bullies are not the norm. The problem is nobody calls them out. And so they live and exist.
Oh, they say, well, you know, that's how she is, or that's how he is.
That's how he is. That's how
Yeah,
she
you know,
is.
they not.
That's how
They
they
just
do.
talking. No, you need to call it out because everybody's not unintimidated by that, and it's not fair, and it's not love.
Bullying happens in every organization on all levels.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are a bully, you know you're a bully. Cut it out. And if you
Mm-hmm.
see it, figure out how you can find a way to either privately and or to not disclose who you are. Let somebody know.
And
Bullying, yeah,
you have to assert that that is not the culture.
yeah. Bullying is manipulation, hands down. It's violent manipulation.
Mm-hmm. Ageism does happen. That's another sense of bullying when you use, you know, I've been living this life for a long time. So
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up. So
that's what Karen said. Mm-hmm.
bullying, glad you brought that up, Karen. Bullying is in so many cases not what we think it is necessarily when we think of the term. It's like somebody being verbally abusive to somebody or what have you. Bullying happens in very discreet ways, right? In discrete types of conversation or to Karen's point around ageism, the types of conversations we may have in group settings or with others that discount someone, diminishes someone. Bullying happens in that manner in which those who really are good at it, you really never know they're bullying unless you pay close attention what and how they're saying it. Mara says, I'm in a new position, baby. The manipulation these folks on is baffling. I've
Well,
never
what
worked in such an atmosphere.
they come in and they tell you all about how they've been here. So you need to listen to what they have to say because they know how things work around here. And maybe you need to consider that the way things have always worked is not effective or proactive or productive.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's good to have a new insight step in the room.
Karen said exclusions, different standards.
Exclusions, different
Definitely.
standards, like excluding people because they have different points of views. Yeah, that's
that's definitely a form of bullying. It happens. Listen, and it happens at all levels. So keep your ears open, your eyes focused and sharp. Bullying, it does not present itself in the normal context of what we would call bullying, right? From the playground, fighting somebody. What in the workplace, bullying is very discreet. So keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open.
And how they are with others, because you will be.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what I told my son. Like bullies have no friends.
The opposite of bullying is being kind.
Well, Morris, baby, we know you're telling the truth. Look,
we know you tell the truth. Listen. So the opposite of it is being kind, though, right? It sounds really simple, But if you're seeing bullying, the best way to fend off bullying is to triple down on kindness.
What about being good though, Glenn? It's about being good. I think
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I think goodness, I think kindness is the demonstrational act. I think goodness is kind of the embodiment
the
of all of
embodiment,
what you feel, think, and do.
yeah,
But I think on the surface level, that kindness is not really about being good, actually. That
it's just
kindness,
being fake.
that kindness is basically saying, oh no, 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 you're not gonna bring me down with you. I'm going to combat you with kindness. Now you can say goodness and what have you. I mean, I think that's fine as well. But I think that when we see it, many times the inclination is to replicate it, to to give it right back. And I believe that the best way to let a bully know that they're a bully is to give them kindness,
Right.
or
But then
goodness, if you want to say.
but the goodness, and you know, I normally don't say much, but the goodness I think is where your heart is. Like, trying to understand, how you
Yeah,
talk about that compassion and you say, maybe you don't need to ask why, what's wrong with them, but more like what happened to them. Because a lot of times people are bullies because something happened to them that made them believe they had to be defensive in that way.
yeah, no, I totally. I mean, listen, I'm not going to disagree with you on that. I think underneath it all is, look,
Hmm.
you can't combat anger with anger. You can't combat meanness with meanness.
Yeah.
When you see a bully, you got to call a bully out, but you got to call him out with love and kindness. And the reason why is because once you replicate anger and meanness and bulliness, what it does is all it does is affirm the
Hmm.
bully. You
It
know what I mean?
does.
It affirms manipulation. But you hit a bully with some kindness and some goodness,
Or you start including people that they've excluded.
and they'll feel it.
No,
They'll
Glenn,
feel it.
come on over here and have a seat. We want to get to know you.
They'll
You
feel it.
always sitting by yourself.
So yeah, does all this manipulation come from getting too close to coworkers? I
I
don't
don't think
necessarily
so.
think so. You know, listen, that's a personal choice. How people get close to their coworkers. You know, I have my own personal belief about that. Um, but even if you don't want to get close to your coworkers, or even if you do want to get close to, the reality of it is you got a job to do. And if you're with mature professionals or those who are learning to be mature professionals, again, love says you are open and honest about in the dialogue that you have with one another.
Hmm.
Some people don't understand what it takes to be a professional and a friend, and some people
Hmm.
have to learn.
Hmm.
You know, I think the only thing that the undergirding of all of this is being open, honest, and having a clear line of communication about what is appropriate at work, as well
Hmm.
as what kind of culture and value system that you want to espouse at work.
Hmm.
That's what this is about. If you want to have friends or you don't want to have friends at work, that's all a personal choice. And I don't think it really has anything. I don't think it's the impetus behind manipulation at work. I think manipulation at work is about the person who's manipulating, and that's an independent choice. The
Hmm.
last thing I want to talk about the behavior for manipulation tonight um, is one that I think we all probably have done and have suffered from, and we can all probably get better. Comparison,
Hmm.
comparison,
Hmm.
making comparisons,
Hmm.
comparing people, and people's like, well, we gotta, you gotta, see if this person like, no,
You don't.
no, you don't. Comparing people as a form is a form of manipulation because, again, we're talking about an individual who needs not be compared.
Hmm.
Well, Glenn, we gotta, maybe they're up for a job, the same job, and well,
You still don't
no,
have to compare them.
you don't have to compare them actually.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody should be able to stand on their own merit. When
Mm-hmm.
we get into a comparison culture, what happens is we begin to either subconsciously or even consciously pit people against one another.
And it
Look,
destroys teaming.
it shows teaming. Think about any type of sports team or
Mm-hmm.
any business type of team.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has a role. Why are you going to compare Michael Jordan to the last man on the bench? It's a failed experiment. Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. The last man on the bench, last man on the bench. But you got to have 12 players or 15 players, depending on who you ask. You got to have that number of players, right? So why compare? Why not do what love says do?
Yes, they do.
Why not do what love says? Love says celebrate. Love says celebrate everyone for their individuality, for who they are, for what they bring to the table, not for how they fit in, but how they stand out. Love says we don't need you to fit in. Love says we need a cultural ad.
I love the way you did these in order because this goes right back to treating people like they're more than enough.
Exactly. It's a
Right
circle
back.
thing, right? It's right back.
Comparing, treating them like
Yeah,
they're
you're right.
less than, celebrating, treating them like they're more than enough. I
Mm-hmm.
love
I think
that.
a lot of the comparison
How you
thing,
did
another
these.
instant community makeup to compare. Yeah, listen. And Karen said the same, kind of hit on that. They do that with us. Listen, look, we can get into some DEI conversations about this as well, right? About manipulation and love.
Yep.
Oh boy, we ain't get
I
into it
can't
tonight.
wait to
We ain't
get
get
into
into it tonight.
now listen, now Glenn, I've been trying to do DEI for the last 3
I
months.
know we're gonna get into it though. We're gonna get into the
I'm
DEI
ready.
stuff, the
I am
diversity, equity, inclusion
ready
stuff. We're
for
gonna get
people to
into it.
start representing and start including.
Yeah. So listen. So we're gonna wrap it up. We're past time, but we're gonna wrap it up. But listen, this is what we went over tonight, and I want to really, I'm glad y'all had this conversation with us, Karen, Jim, Mars. I think somebody else was on.
Jamila.
Yep. I want remember this is manipulation. Manipulation says less than. Love says you're more than enough. Manipulation says strings are attached. Love says it's unconditional. Manipulation says you're passive aggressive. Love says you're forthcoming and direct. Manipulation says you're being a bully. Love says you're being kind. And last, manipulation says you are comparing people. But love says you are celebrating people. When people ask us, how do you bring love in the workplace? How does it exist? How does it translate? How is it seen in action? This is how it's seen in action. More than enough, unconditional, forthcoming and direct, kind, celebrating others. This is love in action in the workplace. Not difficult at all. If we sit down and process, how do those thoughts become things? How those things become actions and behaviors? That's how love exists in the workplace. I'm done.
Drop the mic.
I'm done. Love y'all too. Love you too, Mars.
Thank you. Love
Thanks,
you, Mars.
Karen.
Love you, Karen. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. This was a great talk, and thank you for engaging. We love when you all engage with us. We
Definitely.
love when
Yes,
you
Jim.
come in,
Yeah.
and we love when you give us your opinion because it sort of validates that everybody that this is working. So thank you so much.
Mr. Miller.
Thank you guys. Great conversation. Okay. So remember, this is hard work. I'm Renee.
I'm Glenn Thomas.
And this is another episode of Heart
Heart
Talk
work
Live.
loud.
We
I
love
said
you
heart work
guys.
loud. I said heart work loud. I'm bad. My bad. I messed up.
Last week it was me. Now it's you.
God, you got me all messed up.
Oh, y'all are saying I love you. It is working. We love
We love
y'all.
y'all, man. Lay back up. Whoop, whoop.
We
Y'all
love
be
y'all.
good.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye, guys.
Take care.